There y'all are. Happy Feral Monday. I'm excited. I'm obviously inspired by cement colors. I'm inspired by this palette. How pretty is this palette? I'm so excited to use it. I thought we'd stay around this area, maybe hop here. Oh, this is, get this on my face. This is going to be fun. Ooh, it's even got a little bit of a pink flip to it. Okay, let's get started. By the way, I have on the shade MJ, and I swear I'm even getting better at using it and figuring out its dry time. I feel that so often we just automatically go, ugh, I don't like it. But sometimes you just have to learn to use something, and that's where I'm at with this, and I absolutely love it. And I just clean it up with the micellar water, and I actually used a lighter shade today. I'm having fun doing lighter shades. I'm up here, Gene Bean. He's screaming for me, hang on. If I had said that I didn't like a product the first time I use it, I think I would only like 2 products. So that being said, I know it's an investment to buy these products and then learn to love them, but that's not what I'm telling you to do. I'm even saying maybe go practice with what you already have. Maybe drag something out of a drawer that you didn't like. Maybe just play around with it just a little bit more. It's less about let's go buy this, and it's more about just making sure that we're not wasting what we already have. We're doing a full glam, okay? Now, this is coming in here in just a second, but I want to start from kind of this upper part here. I really wanted super full coverage, so we're going to use clean canvas. If you need a clean canvas, the name is here. You're starting with a clean canvas. So I'm taking that on my C31, and I'm just going to kind of let the little hairs of the brush fit in there. And as you can see, it's not a carve because we're pushing it in between the hair. It's more of just fluffing it in there and continuing that hair shape that we're going for. I'm gonna leave my music on today because I'm only filming this. I hope y'all don't mind. It's 70s, I think it's the 60s, 70s, and the 80s. It's mainly what I listen to. I'm gonna link the brush. Again, this is the C31, and the fibers are dense enough to build up the color. You're gonna see it build up that mint eye base too, but I also wanted them to kind of be a little bit more diffused right on the end. And the reason why is because this is a technique I used to do all the time, and I really want to start doing it again. I really miss it, but you can see that it just kind of pushes in between the brow hair and continues the fluffy brow. Also, again, this one is meant for corrector. Anytime you need color and you need it to be very intense, but also blended. So the C31 for that one. Now for the fun part, we're gonna take this mint eyeshadow base. This one's from Beauty Creations. They have really nice colors. I'm just gonna put a little bit on the back of my hand. Okay, that's all we're gonna need. I say that, but let's not say it's all. I don't know where we're going, but let's start with that much. I'm gonna use half of it and make sure that I'm gonna pick it up evenly on the brush. Are you ready? Now, when you start using these bases, we're gonna need to trust the process because this is terrifying. Okay, these can be so disheartening, but what happens is they amplify everything on top. Anything that's gonna go on top of this is just going to be amplified to another level. So they're really fun to use. And I'm gonna let that creep up to about right there. Still using those pressing motions. All right, so that's gonna be transition just about enough. I'm gonna transition a little bit more here. It doesn't have to be a perfect transition, but we definitely didn't want it to just be a harsh line because you're gonna see that we're gonna add shadows on top of it, and it does need to have a little bit of that transition to begin with. Now, creasing is gonna be completely normal with this type of product. This is a wet base, and anytime you apply a powder, something dry on top of something wet, what happens? It enhances, and that's what we want. It's going to just really bring out the color, enhance everything, and add that minty shade underneath. I'll talk more about the dry going on the wet in just a second, but I'm going to transition this side now. And don't be afraid to really take it over this way. We can clean it up And you're thinking, why would you do that? Because you don't know how far you're taking shadow over, if you want to reshape. You don't really know what you're doing. You as in me, and I never know. Like I mention all the time, I don't know where this is going. I know the colors, but I don't know what shape we're going to end up with here. So this is their Pastel Garden palette. It's exceptional. It looks so beautiful. We're going to start with a small brush. We're starting with our E27. I'm picking up a lot of the product. I'm going to tilt my head back. And I'm just going to start to build this in here. Now, again, I was mentioning applying dry on top of wet, and it just enhances. That's what happens. And also, listen, that's sometimes what can happen when you put a powder foundation on top of a lot of skin prep. It can darken it. So that's something to keep in mind, which we need to do a whole video on that. We'll do an updated powder foundation how to. So I'm just going to build that up. I think I might want to add, I feel like this one doesn't have a dark enough shades, and today is the day that I do palette hop, but I'm just going to palette hop into another one of their palettes. So I want something a little bit darker in the deepest part of my socket, but I am just going to build this up for right now. Don't even worry about up here. We're not there. Oh, also, if you have, I've got to tell you this because it came to me. If you remember how I mentioned the powder foundation going on darker, if you have even a foundation that has a powder matte finish, I don't want to say powder matte because that might confuse you, a powdery finish or a matte finish, applying it on a very wet canvas like your face can darken it. So that's something to keep in mind. I look terrifying. I know, we're having fun. It's Fair on Monday. Let me grab another palette. Okay, this is their Secret Garden palette. What am I witnessing? What am I Feral Tuesday tomorrow. Maybe we'll do a liner moment with that today, but for right now, I was just grabbing this shade. I don't know, that's kind of not my vision. I'm getting ahead of myself. I have a little bit of a different vision. So maybe we'll save that color. That color excites me. So we're gonna take this shade from that palette and I'm just gonna darken up the socket. I'm just going to do that a couple times. I'm gonna keep adding, and I always add slowly. And don't forget to make sure that you're at least checking. You don't have to follow. I would love it if you followed, but I don't want you to feel any pressure. But if you at least want to check out the Rose & Ben Beauty page, I've been posting exclusive educational content there as well. You know, I saw this TikTok and it said that eyeshadow is kind of over. And that made me sad. It did. Because eyeshadow is really what got me into makeup. And I don't want it to go anywhere. It's fun. I feel like it's the most expressive, fun part. So I'm still taking this shade, and I think I even want to do a cut crease. I feel like it's been a while since we've done a cut crease. So I'm just going to extend this outward, the darkest shade. And that's the beginning of your cut crease. That's all it is. It's extending it to kind of meet the brow area. We can transition more on top of that, but you just first need it to kind of come out towards the brow. Easy peasy. Now we're gonna grab the first shade. So remember the first shade that we grabbed? We're just gonna grab that on the side. And the reason we grab it on the side is so we can pack it on there more. And then just add a little bit more on top of there and transition it. Now if you wanna really get that cut crease going, we're gonna grab the tiniest amount of black eyeshadow. This is still one of my all-time favorite black eyeshadows. And I'm just gonna build that in the deepest of deep of the socket. And I still have it on the side of the brush and I'm pushing it in here. I don't want to see how it's not creeping up too high. We have to be just a touch more thoughtful. It's not scary. That's why we're using a small brush to do this. So sometimes I'll just like shut one eye. If you can't do that, just tilt your head back. And you're just gonna push the brush in there. You wanna be able to fill your socket. And now that this is out of the socket, I'm gonna grab it in the middle. And then I'm just gonna push it here. Now that's still gonna be that dark green shade, but we want black in the almost hidden part because it will make a difference in a little while. And then if you're not loving the blend, I don't know if you know this, but you can even use your E26. I'm using the dark green shade to soften the top part of the black. Using a brush like this with dry eyeshadow, game changer. Soften that out. See, I wanted to really reshape the eye. So remember, we weren't sure why we were doing this. Now we know why. It's fun to watch it blend. Okay, we're gonna start our next transition. All right, there's two things that are gonna make this look better. I'm gonna clean up my lid space, it's gonna improve it, and then transitioning and blending this part. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna start with a tiny tap of this shade again, all right? We gotta take that, and we just gotta push that all up here. I'm using the side of an E28, and it's so soft. It's just gonna transition it so beautifully. Okay, so we still need more transition. We're gonna grab, actually let's grab this shade, 2 little taps. Start here in the center. Ooh, did you just see that? We're gonna grab some more of it. 1, 2. Start more here. And it's easier to focus the product to start here in the center and then start to bring it over this way. I'm gonna tilt my head back. You wanna know something really funny? Whenever I'm doing these intense looks, and if I'm not, it used to be if I'm not filming, I would just kind of lay the palette over my shoulder like this, like a little bird. Anyway, I can just tap where I need. Isn't that fun? I feel like sometimes we look at this packaging and we're just like, it's, you know, it's not luxe. It's not what is very much Sephora these days, but I actually prefer this type of packaging for this reason. Because when I'm in this palette, I'm in this palette, okay? If I wasn't doing a tutorial right now, I don't even know how much of this palette I would be using. So I love just kind of like letting it sit there. It's fun. We're gonna come back to the blending later. Right now, we're gonna start to clean this up. And you're thinking, why did we add the base there? Well, I didn't know we were gonna do a cut crease. Here we are. But now we're gonna take that, start to really tidy this up, wipe this off. Look how fun this is. And I'm wiping it now. And I do quite a bit of it because that base is very much wanting to stay where I told it to stay. So we gotta get a little bit, and no, this isn't going to affect how your shadow wears, because once it dries down, that's why I like to use micellar water and not Vaseline or something else. I just have never ever been let down with micellar water. Just keep tidying, but look at how much better that already looks. And I just keep wiping every single time. By the way, this is the micellar water that I use. I can't remember if they sent this one or I bought it, because I bought a refill because I love this top, but I think that they sent it to me, but I'm pretty sure you could find it on Amazon. But I've never ever had any issues with this one. It doesn't burn my eye. It's just, it's the perfect working micellar water. Let's do this. You ready? But I'm only gonna put just a little bit. You're gonna see. We definitely need a C30 for this. And this is the same C30. It just dried already. So we're just going to, I'm actually gonna hold this further back. We'll be able to do a little bit more of a sweeping motion this way. Whee! I don't share a lot about myself, but this is actually one of my favorite songs. That's just for direction later. I picked up some more, but I'm only going to apply this through here. So let's take this color, grab it, And I'm gonna carve the lid again. But let's pack this matte underneath here. And remember, if you're just tuning in, this is Feral Monday. This is where we just do fun makeup good times. Normally I don't palette hop, and I don't always do kind of this type of eye makeup, but on Mondays, y'all let me have lots of fun. Isn't this fun? You're thinking no. I can see the end of all of this. Okay, I still don't know what colors or what I'm doing. I'm walking through this, but I have an idea and I can see the end result. Now I got us a real nice racing stripe there. Now I'm gonna clean this up. See where this takes us. Good Lord, Jean. The snoring, honey. We're gonna do like a double situation. This is so cool. It looks like it's kind of a neon in there in between that. That's kind of cool. But now I'm thinking I might need to take a little cereal break. My little tummy is a little grumbly. So I'll be back, and then we're gonna do Shimmers. We're gonna use, I think it'll be fun to see my skin peek through a little bit. So we're gonna use a clear base, but we're not there yet. I'll be back. Okay, today we had Special K. Actually, Ben had pepper and feta salad that we made the other day. I think we had Saturday. And then he finished that off, and then I have to have my Special K because it's delicious. I'm looking for C31. That was my milk clear base. And I'm just going to take this all over my lid here. And I'm gonna try to make sure I don't tap on top of that. So remember that dark green shade? I'm gonna pick that up, and I'm not gonna connect it up here. I'm just gonna kind of place it, and then I'm gonna extend it. Picking up more of it. Picking up just on the shade. To figure out our shimmers. So we're gonna grab this shade on E27. There we go. That's gonna go here, and we'll feather it on top of that. Ooh, that's pretty. And then you're able to see my skin through it a little bit, and that's really pretty. Now we're gonna grab this lighter shade. And then that's gonna go towards the front. Ooh, that's pretty too. So whenever I'm really afraid of my eyeliner getting out of control, I'll take my clear base and I'll kind of make an eyeliner. And I like this because it's a gel. This is the Milk Makeup one I use all the time. So it doesn't run around. You have a lot of control. So I'm gonna go into that black eyeshadow. This is the Natasha Denona one. I'm gonna list both of these. I get excited on Mondays and I sometimes forget to list things, but then I eventually catch up. So then I'm gonna come over here, look, and I'm making a little paste. And it might not be black enough right now, but that's gonna be okay. And we're using our E26 now. That's pretty good. And then I'm just going to do one more wing out this way. Nice. This is the best technique. I was saying this is the best technique when you know that you really need to stay in control. And then I'm gonna length the brush. I feel like this brush is really slept on because a lot of times we just think, well, I don't even wear gel liner, but a lot of times we just want a tiny little baby wing. And using this brush and this kind of technique, you could use brown eyeshadow, blue eyeshadow, whatever color eyeshadow you wanted to use. I'm dipping right in here just to kind of layer it on top. Because remember, now it's an eyeshadow base. So if I just want to pack color on top of it to really intensify it, I can. But I feel like this style of brush is looked at with only one use it's so much more than that. And since it's angled, look, we can just take it right there and connect. So this is wear number 3 for the no glue lashes from Lily Lashes. And I love these. And I love the idea of these, especially with the look like this, because I don't want to get glue on all of this fun time that we have going on here. So a little tip, I'm not even having to really clean them. I just brush them with a clean, dry spoolie. But a little tip with them is just like with real glue, these need to get kind of acquainted with your eye because they're activated by the body heat. So they have to have a little bit of that warmth. So if they're not going on automatically, you just have to give it a second. I can already feel it start to kind of cling to my skin right now. I also have this style. I haven't even worn these yet. I'm so excited for these, but I'm still trying to see how many wears we can get out of these. So far, I just love them. What I'm doing now is making sure that it's really clamped to my natural lash. Yeah, they're still going. It feels like the first time I ever put them on. So for a collection liner, this is Sea Green Matte, and these are waterproof, but I'm gonna try to not go back and forth too much. The more we go back and forth on the eye, what we're doing is we're picking up water here. And even though it's waterproof, it's mixing in there and it's adding water to the formula, and then it's not gonna last as long. So what I did is I warmed it up. You see I didn't waste much. I just warmed it up a hair. That way it'll glide back and forth and we'll be able to get that saturation very quickly without adding a bunch of water to the formula. I think this party needs some double wear. I wear outdoor beige 100% now. I did my little extractions here. We're gonna cover them up. I know you're like, Rose, it's not even anything. I don't like it. All right, it's shaken up. You know, I never mind that it didn't have a pump, and the reason why is because I think this foundation is one of the reasons I learned to do this to get super smooth application. So I'm not really mad. Ooh, I'm sick of that. I'm not really mad at it not having a pump because this is how I do my foundation. Now, I know the dry time on this like the back of my hand, so I'm gonna go ahead and just kind of smooth it out. I'm gonna get it on my headband. I might take that off and put it back on in a minute. But if you are newer to double wear, don't do what I just did. What I want you to do is do it just on one side of your face and work in that section, because one of the reasons double wear is so amazing is because it can dry down and it can, you know, be waterproof, not move, but with that fast dry time, we can get patchiness if we work. I was saying, if you aren't used to the dry time and you try to do what I'm doing here, when a long wear foundation completely dries and we continue to go over it, sometimes that can cause patchiness. And then layering it when it's already dry can cause patchiness. So you'll learn the dry time. That's not what I'm saying, but if you're new to it and you're just kind of playing around with it, work one section at a time. Work here, then work here, then work here, then work here, then work the center. This might actually be one of my favorite looks I've done in a very long time. I'm excited for you to see the back camera. All right, E29. This is the inner rush brush. You're wondering, what are you doing? I am grabbing the perfect amount of foundation on this brush. I'm gonna start to melt here. We can still grab some more. Ooh. And then I want to melt just a little bit over here. And we use a fluffy brush so we don't apply too much. It's C31 would just cover this up. And that's not what I want. I want to melt it together and make it friends. So a fluffy brush doesn't quite cover the same way a dense one does. And think of that when it comes to foundation and powder, really anything. All right, I want to do a really bright under eye, but that doesn't mean we're going to start going super bright. We're going to take a very small amount of my Natasha Denona R5 concealer. I'm whispering because I'm excited. I want to completely smooth this as smooth as possible underneath the eye. I'm still going to work it in with my Actually, let me talk to you really quickly about making sure we're not creasing. I want to use this one to really carve underneath here and flatten it out. I know that you've seen really big flat foundation brushes. Dang, Rosamund Beauty needs one. But you want to, just like the spatula, you want to smooth that on. Same with your concealer underneath your eyes. So the first thing we do is we smooth with the C30. And I know a lot of times, I added just a little bit more of the concealer. I know a lot of times this might seem like a lot, but if you ever watched pros, these are the steps that they take to ensure that the product lasts and the product wears properly. I know we always want a quick fix, and I do have quite a bit of those. But if we're wanting to do kind of a little bit of an extra conceal, these steps are very important. All right, so that's smooth. It doesn't have to look perfect and blended in. It just needs to be flat. And I don't talk about this a lot because I feel that when you start to mention this, it can sometimes become intimidating and you can feel judged. But a long time ago, and for a long time, I did used to do other people's makeup. Loved it. It was so much fun. But from that, I did learn a lot, but I also learned that I enjoy teaching this way. That being said, I have done every skin tone, every skin type, every age. So if you've ever wondered, have I? Yes, I definitely have. But I find that sometimes when I come on here and you feel the watch here. I'm a pro makeup artist. See? I feel judged. But there's a little bit of credentials behind here if you've ever wondered, just a little bit. Never went to makeup school, couldn't afford it, wish that I would have. But all that being said, these tips, they're pro tips. I'm not going to say why pro tips. They're just pro tips that I've seen real pros do. So the next thing we want to do is we want to take that C31. I know you're like, I don't have time for this. We don't need to do this every day, but when we're going to layer, we absolutely do. And if you are really still struggling with creasing, this is so important. So now we're going to smooth this over our fine lines. We're going to smile and we're going to smooth that concealer and work that in as much as we can where we know we have the most creasing. I got to go shut the door. We're in another meeting in there. We're all on it together. And then the C32 to just melt it all together. And I know it seems extensive. And no, this isn't something that you need to do every single day. But this one's going to have to stick around for just a second because we're layering. And that's really what I'm teaching here. Now, I'm going to use this pink brightener here. This is a corrector, but I feel like it's so confusing because pink, yes, it corrects. But on my skin tone, this is going to be a brightener. Now, I'm not going to take this one as far underneath there because we're going to put shadow there. So we don't have to worry too much, but I do want to flatten it out. So let's grab our flattener. Just give it a nice flatten. And this is going to bring us to a much brighter under eye. Ooh, that's so pretty. And I love that. I know it's Tom Ford, but I didn't like the foundation, but I found the correctors when I was getting the foundation, and the correctors are a gem. So we're not really around the fine lines quite the same. So we're just gonna grab our C32, and that's gonna come back into stock soon. I literally think that's what that phone call is about. And then we'll just beep, 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 beep. Look at how brightening that is. We're gonna take it one step further though today. We're wild today because it's Feral Monday. I'm gonna teach y'all how to brighten with our pressed powder. We gotta set with the loose one though. First you gotta set. You gotta set with the loose because the loose is more finely milled usually. Woo! We are getting brightened. You know what you definitely don't want to brighten though is anything raised like this right here. We would not want to do that. We actually want to set with something a touch darker. Let me show you. So if we set with something light, we're going to highlight it. So we're going to set with a powder. I'm just going to grab this powder. This one's darker than my actual shade. And I still love my Natasha Denona, but my Natasha Denona is going to be too light, but I have a darker shade in this one. Let me show you. So this is 1R12. Yep, this is 1R12, which is my actual shade. And then you can see this one is darker, and that's 2R28. You want, that's a really good reference too, in terms of how dark you want. And also, we're gonna start with a fluffy brush because we don't wanna add too much color to this area. And it's just like contouring in a sense. Whenever you contour, oh, that already looks so much better. You're kind of taking away, you're shading it away. So we got our initial on there, okay? Now we're gonna grab a smaller brush to pinpoint. All right, this is gonna be really cool. So we're just taking an E26. And do you see what you're seeing here? You're seeing a shadow behind there. So we wanna build a little bit more of that. This is so intense. But if you kind of fill in the gap where the light's casting that, oh, look at that. The light's casting that shadow. And if you take a little brush like this and you fill in behind it, not on top, I'm going behind it. It disguises it, because what's happening is it's sticking out and you're seeing that shadow behind it. So by adding this deeper color back there, it's not too deep. Again, you can see that it still matches me, but it's not highlighting. We don't want something too light around it, just a shade down. But you can see that but you're kind of filling in that gap of the shadow that's being cast. So I just have one light directly in front of me here. Your sunlight would do that, really any light right in front. So you want that light there, and then you fill in behind, not on top, behind the raised area. So fun, right? Let's try out this. This packaging is just downright fantastical. They sent 2 shades, and apparently I've lost the other one. Not really, I would never. It's here somewhere. Let me look for it. I had just had it. So these are new from YSL. And apparently they can grow legs. I'm kidding, here's the other one. It was here. So this is the lighter shade. This is their All Hours Hyper Bronze. Okay, that was, hang on. That's 02, and then here's 03. Let's try 02 first, just to see where we end up. C40. Let's grab it all along the middle of the brush. Hold it far back. Ooh. Dagnabbit. I think I like it. Ooh, it's smooth. Whoa. No, it's so good. It literally made my foundation even look just so put together and smooth. Dagnabbit. I don't like when these things are so good. I know how spicy priced they are. Tap, 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 tap. Don't disturb this over here. Just go around it. I kind of want to see how dark the other shade is. Let me wipe my brush off. We'll just try it on. I can't wait for you to see this with back camera, because this is just delightfully smooth. I could build that shade up more too if I wanted to, but let's just see where we end up. This is 03. Definitely got a little bit darker. I like this color better on me, but I mean, this would be great for a darker skin tone than me, a medium tan. The formula though, this isn't a good shade for me, but even the way that this formula has blended, I can't explain it. I feel like it's so thin that it's laying across the skin and not adding really any product to the face. I am so happy, yet I am unhappy, because I did not expect to like this as much as I do. I'm gonna grab 02 again. I feel like 02 is a perfect shade for me. I'm gonna try to add a little bit of that color here, and then I'm not really gonna worry too much about it, because I'll just add some blush and correct it. Again, 02. 02 is the shade we're using. I love that shade. That's the one that I'm gonna be gravitating towards. Ooh, it's so good. They have a little bit of a glow to them, and I feel that we have to speak to this like an advancement. So it used to mean that glow meant highlighter. That's not what we're doing here. It mimics the skin, and I'm actually blown away a little bit. I need to research these more. I don't want y'all to run out and get them. But dag nab, I'm impressed. I might have a new favorite bronzer. Who done commissioned this? That's gotta get on my face. Ooh, Lord, let's just look at it. This is also from the 𝗕𝗲𝘂𝘂𝘁𝗶𝗹𝘀. This is Poison Ivy holographic. Throw some clear base on here. I haven't set yet my under eye, but I know that I'm not going to put anything there. Let me smooth it out. Get that C31. Give it a little smoothy smooth. That's honestly how I feel. I just think this is so much fun. It's my little art supplies. I'm wiping off an E27 on Sheila. I'm going to pick this up in the center. Okay, I want to make sure I get enough of it. It's got to be really even across the brush. Oh my gosh, y'all are going to absolutely go wild when you see this with back. And then I'm not using this today, but I better hear the click of y'all's makeup seatbelts. This one's called Just Holo. No, don't eat your makeup. Now we're going to set our under eye. This is my 𝗕𝗲𝘂𝘁𝗆 powder. I'm going to take a MAC one to brighten up even more, but we're not there yet. Really work this in. And then I'll go ahead and set the center of my face. We're finding some fun stuff today. I'm so excited for the other shadows, and they come loose, so that's why they're out of a pan. In case you're wondering why I'm slinging them around and trying to eat them. Don't eat it. I know I don't have to tell y'all, but sometimes I feel like I have to say these things. I don't know. I'm gonna grab that mixture. Remember the black eyeshadow? And just the eyeshadow base. I want that very close to the lash line. Nice. Have that little mixture again on the back of my hand. Disconnect it. Remember that first shade we laid down? Let's melt that in there. It's on the tip of the brush on the center. So much fun. Also, I love this song. Now we're gonna grab, this is a MAC, this is Studio Fix. Maybe I shouldn't jab it. Studio Fix, this is NW15. This is the powder foundation. So we're gonna take this on a puff, and I'm just going to really brighten. Okay, this is gonna be scary, but we're gonna bake it, and then we're gonna press it in. Oh, the meeting is fun. I'm jealous now. Nice. Again, this is something I would do just for a special occasion and just to really brighten and have fun, but we want to make sure that we have all of that balance underneath there. If we go in with this directly, we could have shadows and gray under eyes, but this way we're just going to be able to brighten. Now this is a tone more for my skin tone and lighter, but we still need all of that balance underneath. All right, this is baking. We're gonna let it sit, and what's happening is it's kind of melting in with everything else on my face, and it's still gonna stay there, and it's gonna brighten, and it's gonna highlight, but it's just gonna sit there. It's really important that we kind of set first. If you do this on top of wet concealer or wet foundation, it can become really patchy. That's patchy, or bird claw. But we don't wanna do that. It needs to be set a little bit. This color is gonna be so pretty with this aqua mint, and I love this formula. I have them in a drawer and I forget to get them out. This one is, oh, this is so pretty. And I figured that this would pair really pretty with the bronzer formula. They kind of have that same texture. Oh, that's so pretty. I love it. This is called That's Peachy. That's the shade. And this is the Glow Play blushes from MAC. I feel like these didn't get enough high. So I might have to come back in once we get the powder pressed in and make sure the blush is even, but I didn't want to go over the bake yet. We're not there yet. I forgot how much I love these. These are from About Face. We're gonna do this color first, and then we're gonna grab a lip liner. But then we're gonna do this color in the center, but we're not there yet. Let me tap this out a little bit. Is that color not stunning? And then I'm gonna do this Mario lip liner. This is the shade Milk Chocolate. I like this one because it's a brown, but it's not a very intense brown. So if you have a skin tone similar to me or lighter, it's gonna give you kind of that browny definition without being too stark. It's a great gateway brown, if you will. Now we're gonna grab this shade, and that's gonna go in the center. That's a party I want to go to. Now for the larger areas, I'm going to take my C42. We love a dense brush to press this in because it really works it back in. Same here. Nice. Now we're going to switch brushes. Now we need the C32 again. Again, it's just dense. And then we can press it in. Woo, watch that transition right there. And I'm just gonna keep doing this till it's worked in. And worked in just means that you don't see it sitting on top of the skin anymore. All right, we are done. I think one of my signatures as an artist is I do really intense eye makeup looks, but I've always had this idea of them melting into everything. So while this is so intense, there's still this kind of, it just kind of melts in over here. It melts on this top part and kind of just goes into my skin, and then it kind of just fades and melts into this area over here. I just love the idea of intensity becoming one with your face. I hope y'all enjoyed Feral Monday because I feel so complete doing this look. I want to do another fun look tomorrow. It's going to be so easy though. I want to mix these colors, and maybe we'll use one of the loose holographic colors, but these are from Half Magic, and I wanted to do something with these. These are really pretty colors to me, and these are really easy to use, and we'll just do something a little more blendy, fun, not all of the layers. This was a lot. If you have been following along with the stories for a while, you might remember a time where I did a look like this. Not a cut crease, just wild, fun looks almost every single day. I feel like that was a lot. And as much as I loved it, I realized that it wasn't always helping everyone, and that's one of the reasons I kind of took this page and I turned it into just a very helpful, inviting, warm place. And I want everybody on all different makeup journeys to find this place and to find one another and to just get the help and the inspiration, no matter what level, get that inspiration that they're after. All right, my friends, I love you so much. I'm not gonna post tonight on my page because I have a video that's it's in the algorithm. We don't mess with the algorithm. I'm just gonna let it sit, but I will be posting on Rosenden Beauty, so make sure you're following there. I'm gonna show you how to wash the E26, if I find it. This one, I'm gonna show you how to wash it. So I'll be posting that later, and then there's other videos there that you might have missed. All right, I love you with all of my heart. In case nobody has told you today, I love you so much, and I'll see you on the Rosenden Beauty page.